Are you ready?
Good news, everyone!
I'm the surprise in your cereal box. I'm
great! Everybody else sucks!
I said, are you ready?
Yes, sir, random kid I just met.
It's Ciely.
Hooray! People are paying attention to me.
That's right, you're always blaming me.
So, my reputation exceeds me.
It's time to check the link.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
You know what? You just made the list!
It's all in football.
Sure, we talk about it all the time.
Really?
No, burn.
What's up, you ducks? Can't hear anything. I legitimately can't. You're coming through my computer. You're not echoing, are you, Mike Meaney?
I don't think so. We are officially live. Can you hear me?
I know that. I know we're officially live. I can't see jack shit. So I'm not going to get any comments today. The earpiece isn't working, which I can't get to in here. So happy Halloween, everybody. Happy Week 8 review. Go Halo. That's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Can you see? Can you see anything?
No. For everybody that doesn't know, the show sheet's on font like 37 because it's so freaking hard. This is supposed to be like a costume helmet and walk outside in this thing. Like I can't see. And Nicole's like, "Hey, where to go trick or treating with your niece Jocelyn tonight?" And I was like, if you hold my hand like I'm a child."
I do hear an echo when I talk to you, so it's probably.
I know. You gotta get the earpiece to work, and I can't see the screen to fix the font or fix the setting.
It's a good
Luckily,
effort.
this is a short show, so here I'll like go like this when you talk. Does that help?
Yeah.
Like cover the mic wherever.
Yeah,
it is?
no. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Jay says you've never looked better.
Well,
I still hear a bit of an echo. But yeah.
So we'll get through it. It's only a half of a show. Maybe I'll try to figure out while you're talking, and I'll zoom. Like I'll have to like sit really close to the like. Hi, everybody.
It's actually Jake. Yes, with the helmet.
Well, on the good news of things, let's go back to London, baby, and talk about that game. Well, I'll let you go first, obviously. Etienne, are we underselling him? Question mark. Like, are we talking potentially top 5 in the conversation of the Camaras and Mixons of the world? And then part 2 is Greg Dulcich, now the only here's how I'm saying it. Trustworthy Bronco, because the backfield is split with Murray and Gordon, and it's kind of hard to predict who's going to get the touchdown, what's the usage going to be. Sutton and Judy basically alternate games, and there's very little predictability between them. So what I say is Dulcich the only reliable one. That's kind of why I'm saying is because he's the only one that we might want to start going forward. I see all the comments, everybody. I'm sorry. Like I cannot read the comments. You'll have to let me know if there's any good ones. So while you're answering, I'm also going to try and fix the audio if you're Chris. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can address some of the comments when they come up, but I think he is probably the only trustworthy guy. I say Judy had a pretty good game, right? I give a little bit of love to Judy. You know, he's running nice routes, and it seemed like he was the guy that Russ would trust at the wide receiver position. I don't know what's going on with Courtland Sutton. I mean, I was a big Courtland Sutton fan coming into this season. Definitely thought this offense would be much, much better than what it is so far. I mean, it's the worst offense in football, right? Yeah, I say he's the one that you can trust. I think in spots like flex spots, Melvin Gordon or Latavius played ahead of him. They both got touchdowns. Latavius seems like the better back between the two, but it's going to be split. Yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, as for Travis Etienne, absolutely. Like, there's a lot of running backs who have just, for Tony Pollard, it's short time. Ken Walker's moved up. If there's no Chuba Hubbard, Deontay Foreman, like these are guys that we're probably ranking as RB2s, but they showed us that they have upside to be low on RB1. So Travis Etienne is going to be in that RB1 tier for me the rest of the way. Yeah, it's his backfield. He looks great.
I totally agree. By the way, I'm waving trying to find out where Barkley is next to me because I heard him come home. I was trying to bet her. But I basically agree on Etienne to a degree of, let's play this. Nick Chubb or Travis Etienne?
Like if it's a half point, I probably still go Chubb. It's really close. It's just with Etienne, he's going to catch passes out of the backfield. So I guess maybe you give him a slight uptick, but yeah, I mean, it's really close. I think Chubb is the best pure runner in the NFL. The offensive line is good. You know, last week his rushing yard prop came out at 70 and he crushed it against Baltimore. This week it's at 80. I think he'll crush it again today. So he's a guy that I probably have like one spot ahead just because of how pure of a runner he is, the offensive line that he plays behind, and the fact that I know he's going to touch the ball like 20 times. But, man, he really won't catch any passes. But maybe we'll see Kareem Hunt traded here in the next couple days. Maybe he'll get a couple
just use Dearness Johnson or somebody else.
They will. They'll use Johnson a little bit, but maybe he'll fall into a couple grabs.
They refuse to let him get usage in the pass. Well, consistent usage.
Here's a good question here from Albert. What? Etienne or Swift? It's not even close to me. It would be Etienne.
Stop jumping ahead of my list. I was going to make a list. I was going to make a halo list. I can't. That's just. Did anybody say anything else about the helmet, by the way? I don't like peek out over here. I don't know.
No, just somebody. Meaney, you look so young with no beard. That's.
Oh yeah.
I'm
this is
2000.
2000.
Meaney? Yeah, 2000 Meaney. I did the Joker over the weekend. I did a TikTok on our FTN account. I was gonna do it this morning, but there's a lot going on. It took a while to get that.
Did you see
going,
Diddy's Joker?
Time.
Like the artist Diddy?
No. Like P? Like P Diddy?
Yeah. Like he
Puff?
did. Yeah. Puff Daddy, P Diddy, Puff Diddly Doo Doo, whatever.
All the family.
Yeah. He did a great job. It was actually really well done. Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Etienne. So I would absolutely take Etienne over Swift. I was going to go and save this one for last, but, since somebody else brought up the Swift for us, I was going to get right past that one. The number one pick, Jonathan Taylor or Travis Etienne?
I still think Taylor. But my goodness, you could if I own Jonathan Taylor, I feel like I could trade Taylor and get Travis Etienne and maybe like a wide receiver 4, like a Michael Gallup or something. Could I do something like that? I'd be totally in on it. But I would. I'm going to have Taylor ranked ahead of Travis Etienne. But I mean, these guys are RB1s, right?
Well,
they're all studs.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor has been like banged up now. Consistently got banged up again this week. I will get to the off. You know what? Let's just do it right now. Actually, before I do that, Travis Etienne or Deonta Foreman, the best running back in the history forever.
I really like Foreman. I know you're joking there, but this is a guy now that in his last 6 games where he's had 15 carries, he's hit the century mark. Last year he graded out really well, filling in for Derrick Henry, running between the tackles. Chuba's probably going to come back at some point, but it's Foreman. Like if you're Carolina, you're like, listen, man, Foreman is awesome. Like this is our guy. He's our lead. But it's hard to say that I would have him ahead of most people. He's still like a strong RB2.
Here's what I'll say. I'll say is I do have Find My iPhone on for Nicole, so if I do pass out from this, because it's kind of hard to breathe, somebody contact Nicole, let her know that somebody needs to come get me, because I'm just dead on the floor over here. The Deonta Foreman thing, like you know how I feel about him from a few years ago. I was a fan. I got worried about the use and, what is he like after the Achilles? And we joked, actually a few weeks ago, we said maybe the truth for Cam Akers is we see him again in 2 years. It's like, hey, you come back, you kind of do okay, you start to tail off like James Robinson's doing, and then 2 years later, it's yay, you're great, wonderful. All that being said, so I like Foreman. I was expecting a lot more of a split, which is why I was a little hesitant on this. Of course, Hubbard being out changes things. Mm-hmm. But I will say also, I do still have a little bit of concern of Foreman and the fact that I still would put him as an RB2 because of 2 reasons. One is still the Carolina Panthers offense, and P.J. Walker's been better for the offense. Absolutely. It's still not the greatest thing on turf, but I guess on grass because their field is outside. The other part is the usage is that Hubbard is still used heavily last week when he was out there, and Foreman, even without Hubbard, was still only around 40% on 3rd and long, 2nd and long, and passing down. So that still gives me a little bit of pause that Hubbard might be the passing game like you initially thought 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to breathe.
My initial take with this backfield was that Chuba would be the lead, that he would get the benefit of the doubt, and that Foreman would be the pass catching running back, which I think we saw a little bit of last week. But yesterday, to your point, we saw nothing. I think he got one target. That's it. He wasn't on the field in third down situations. He was just a beast. But again, like talent wise, he's more talented than Chuba Hubbard. So he is going to be the lead. Maybe Chuba falls back into a third down role. Maybe he's just like a guy that gets 7-8 carries here and there. But I agree with you. I mean, he's an RB2. There's a lot of guys who are just now in this RB1 range, you know, Etienne or Stevenson. It's Etienne. Like, I'm not trying to undersell Etienne, guys. He's definitely a top 10 running back. I mean, he's a guy that's going to get 25 opportunities a game, and you can't say that about a lot of running backs.
Well, would you take Etienne or the greatest running back in the history of all time? And Barry Sanders has only had that mantle because Tony Pollard has let him take that mantle. Tony Pollard had the backfield to himself. But here's the jokes aside, Chris, just like Foreman was in the 40% range on passing downs, just like Foreman saw his usage go up, but not actually as much as Foreman. You saw a lot of Malik Davis out there. So what are your feelings of Pollard? Because we know Jerry Jones is going to force Ezekiel Elliott out there anytime he can. And to Ezekiel Elliott's credit, he'll play through any injury if they let him. He wants to get out there. So is this a sell-high window on the fact that, like, oh, it's finally happening for Pollard? Heck, Andrew Siciliano, who a lot of people watch because they watch the Red Zone, and they only watch the Red Zone, said it and then tweeted it saying Tony Pollard's not giving this job back. Is this a sell-high opportunity, or did Tony Pollard officially take the lead this week?
I mean, $131 on 14 carries, Zeke would never do that. Zeke doesn't have that.
He scored 3 touchdowns. Anymore. Zeke has never done that for his career.
Unbelievable, right? I don't think that Zeke's going away. I think we all would like to see Zeke go away. Pollard this has been a conversation for 2 years now. Pollard looks like the better back. He, between the tackles, he looks more explosive. He does. We saw it firsthand yesterday. Firsthand. But Zeke, you're right. There's the Jerry Jones factor. There's the fact he's got money. If you watch a little bit of that game, Tony Pollard didn't do that great of a job protecting Dak. That's very important for the Cowboys as well. Zeke is a great pass blocker. And he's a really good goal line back. Yeah, Pollard got a couple nice touchdown runs. Zeke is a good goal line back too. When they get inside the 5, they get inside the 10. So I would say, he's probably a sell high candidate in redraft leagues because Zeke is eventually going to come back. He got the bye this week, so he gets 2 weeks off before they come back. Week 10 against the Packers. Zeke will probably be on the field. It's probably going to be a bit of a split. Everyone's going to complain. Everyone's going to sit here and say, oh, man, Zeke had 14 for 48 yards, and Tony Pollard had 48 yards on 5 carries and, a couple catches. Maybe Pollard goes back to a third down role. That's the thing. I think when we talk about Foreman, we talk about Pollard. These guys having potential third down roles when their starting running backs are healthy. That sometimes isn't the case when that back is not playing. Somebody else comes in and gets third down opportunities. That's why we didn't see Pollard, get any targets. Now, week 10, he probably gets a couple more targets. But, I would consider selling high after this week. I think you have to. And redraft. Dynasty, wheels up.
Hold on. Dynasty, hold up. By the way, I'm listening to you. I was checking the time, so I could actually see how much time we have left, because I can't see the little tiny ticker counter in the corner. That's for sure.
We got about
Can you see the reflection of my phone in my face when I do this? Can you see?
No, but kind of. Off to the side. I could see your screen in your helmet.
Can you read any of it?
No, I can't.
What if I get really close?
No. It looks like. Looks like maybe the All In Football logo. I think I saw that.
Where? Maybe. Oh, over there.
Yeah.
Good. So you can't see the other stuff over there.
Yeah, you're pulling it off pretty well. Everyone seems to be pretty good here. Obi Wandell not with the Force. What is this? Jake Mega Man or something? All In Halo, like that one.
There you go.
Yeah. Jay says you've never looked better.
That's true. I mean, honestly. Yeah.
Hey, Jake, all you have to do is just pull what the Halo show does. Just take the helmet off and leave it on most of the show.
The very first episode. He's like, I'm Master Chief. And he's like, hi, everybody. Like, I get it. It's a lot easier to have conversations with the actual, don't go. I actually like the show.
You're doing very well.
Also, two things real quick, and we're going to move on from this. Halo, pretty good show. Very good video game adaptation of a show. That being said, the helmet off so quick. I don't mind that they took it off, but not right out the gate. And then the second part was the episode, I think it was 6, where they go back on the girl the entire episode. Just skip it. Like, holy crap, one of the worst episodes of anything in the history of forever. I think that's the third time I said that today. You brought up DeAndre Swift. How worried should we be for DeAndre Swift? It wasn't just the usage, because he didn't look great running between the tackles. Granted, he's coming off an injury. He wasn't even out there last week when they thought he might come back after the bye. Jamal Williams continues to be Jamal Williams, and he's getting the goal line touches. And I'm about to pass out if I don't take some more breaths, so you go, Meaney. How concerned are you for tomorrow's show? We're going to do the Ducks. If you had to do it today and you were on that show, how many Ducks would you give DeAndre Swift?
I'd probably give him 3. Brian's in the house saying, it was good timing. He was asked if we were worried about him. He says he'd like to see the targets for him and actually outsnap by Williams. I mean, it was his first game back, right? I mean, I don't think anybody expected. I didn't expect. Nobody should have expected him to just take the full workload. At the start of the season, Williams was in the way. It was a split, basically, the first few weeks of the season before the injury happened. He'd march all the way up the field. Jamal Williams was a goal line back. We've seen it multiple times. We saw it yesterday firsthand. He is the goal line back in Detroit. I mean, the proof is right there. It's been there since week 1. His value is through the air.
Everybody was expecting more of a 60-40 this year, at least, for Swift.
Oh, like this year or just yesterday?
Just this year.
This year, sure. I don't think anybody expected. I mean, I have a couple shares of Jamal Williams in best ball leagues, and I took him in around 26, 27. Nobody was expecting Jamal Williams to be as involved as he is. I think last year I was expecting it when they signed him. I was like, man, this is a pretty good back. I think he's, going to get at least 30% of the touches. Yeah, I mean, I'd give him 3 Ducks. A little bit concerning, right? He's not getting the goal line work. He's going to get a few targets here and there. I'd expect his usage to be a little bit higher this week coming off the injury. And he says Taylor's a bust. Yeah, maybe I'm completely wrong here. It's really close between Taylor and Etienne. I mean, Etienne looks a lot better. He's catching passes. It looks like a better offense slightly. I mean, the Jags still look pretty brutal offensively. But, yeah, it's a guy that's going to catch some passes. But, I mean, 2 weeks ago we had Jonathan Taylor get 7 grabs. So, I don't know. We'll see moving forward. But definitely agree with you, Brian. He does seem like he's a bust. I mean, he's not going to return value. It's the first overall pick in drafts.
All in football brought to you by Chris Meaney in the chat. Just
well, helping you out a little bit. I know
you just want to have conversation for the rest of the show, just you in the chat room. I see why are there so many freaking comments on this Monday? I can't read any of them. They're just generally a blur.
Excited to see how you look.
You and all I see is your face moving around. It's just kind of. Basically, it's probably if you have 2200 vision and you're trying to focus on something. How about let's talk about tight end for a second. Kyle Pitts, everybody.
Baby.
Kyle Pitts, when we've all given up, all benched him. I mean, you weren't benching Kyle Pitts to take a flyer on, I don't know, Logan Thomas in his first game back or something like Brevin Jordan or O.J. Howard or anything like that. But if anybody had another tight end in the midterm, or if you picked up Taysom Hill, I mean, people weren't starting Kyle Pitts. The interesting thing, and Rich Rebar or was it Nathan Jonke? One of the two tweeted it out, and they said that Kyle Pitts has 1.71 yards per route run when ahead, 0.85 when behind. Yesterday was the first game where it went the other way, where he got more use when behind. Their schedule is pretty soft. For what we expected. It's also pretty soft when the fact that we actually consider the Falcons a decent team. So, just like Tony Pollard, immediate sell high. Just get him off your team because it's the name value. Here's where I'll say, I'm asking this question saying I would immediately sell high. Obviously, it's contingent on what you can get. There's context here. But that being said, he's still not anything different from Robert Tonyan, Hayden Hurst, all the rest of them. And at this point going forward, I'll just bring him into the conversation because I was saving him. I'd rather have Dalton Schultz the rest of the year.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, Dalton Schultz is a guy that he's right there for me. Those guys were side by side in my rankings heading in. And we've seen Dak back for 2 games. We've seen really good games from Dalton Schultz. Like, there's no question. If somebody dropped a Dalton Schultz and you were able to pick him up and you had both of these guys, now you can sell high on Kyle Pitts. I have Pitts in your flex league, and I don't think I'm going to win this week. I've been doing really good.
Kamara, I'm doing pretty good.
I've been rattling off some wins.
Actually, I have Christian McCaffrey and Kamara. I'm sitting pretty here.
You are. I've been rattling off some wins, rolling Pitts in every single week. I got a trade offer from Michael Florio, friend of the show, a couple weeks ago. Higbee for Pitts. I said no thanks. Obviously, Higbee's hurt. I still wouldn't make that deal, Pitts for Higbee. But again, it depends. Like, if you were able to pick up Dulcich, you mentioned him. Who's somebody else?
Would you take Dulcich going forward over Kyle Pitts?
I think Pitts over him, but it's really close. But if I had those two on my team, to your point, trade the guy with the bigger name, the better return, then I would just.
That's my answer to a lot of people. Like,
Pitts.
A lot of times, like, so it's like, I need running back help. Should I trade Tyler Lockett, Devonta Smith, or Tyler Boyd? It's like, my answer is like, whoever gets you the most. Like, if they're that close, it's going to vary depending on the other manager's opinions of said players. So just float them all out there, and who gets you the most back.
Right. Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And Zeke has
another
not
deep
had a
breath.
good season, by the way. I don't think he has.
What was that last part?
It's just like Zeke has had a good season. There's no way he's losing his job. It's like, I don't think he has had it. The difference between Zeke this year and Zeke last year is he's got 6 catches in 7 games, 6 grabs in 7 games this season.
But correct me if I'm wrong. It might have gone down. Isn't his yards per carry up?
His yards per carry is 4.1. It's the second lowest of his career. He's 4.2 last year, 4.0 in 2020. That's just what we've known to see. Like, he's nowhere near the 4.5, 4.7. Yeah, I think he had 1 game. But the biggest difference is, like I said, he's averaging 4.6 receiving yards per game, 5.3 yards per catches. Those are by far the lowest of his career. And he's got 6 grabs through 7 games. He had 47 last year and 50 each in the previous 2 before that. So that's where his much different.
You've been paying attention to the chat. We got time for like maybe 2 more topics because I'm going to go a minute or 2 long. So friends in Canada, you didn't get to miss the awkward opening where I'm just like, so hopefully they get that chopped off. But so what's left over? We got Raiders. We can talk about this tomorrow too, but we could get Raiders, Jets backfield, Ellinger and the Colts. Sorry. James Cook, Romeo Doubs. Is there anybody from the chat? Is there anybody? Pick 2. You go.
The Raiders are a pretty big topic. Do you just buy low on everyone? What was that? Everyone was sick with the flu, and they played in a game where it was an early start for them being normally on the West Coast.
One of the best matchups that there were. Yeah. Still no Marshawn Lattimore. Still, even with Marshawn Lattimore, this defense has been vulnerable. Their defense, the Raiders' defense, is trash. We know that. So, this is a great spot for Kamara, who also, by the way, touchdown regression all came in 1 game. Got them all back.
Got them all back.
That being said, I do think it's a buy low. My interest, so here's what I was going to say, and this is going to be in my trade column, meaning of how I could, now, again, context, sell high on Jacobs and Adams because of this. Coming off a bad game, yes, here's why. This team is just about on the precipice of looking at C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. And that's why I'm like, we get to weeks 15, 16, 17, and Jacobs is 70%. Let's evaluate Zamir White time. Devontae Adams is 70%. Why risk him when we can bring him back next year because he's a foundational piece? That's my concern long term. Again, I'm not saying just get him off your team, but am I crazy or this team's just about to be draft thinking?
Oh yeah, there's a great quarterback class, as you know. They're looking like they're going to get a top 5 pick. And this team, the coaching staff, McDaniels has no ties to anybody. He didn't pick up the 5th-year option on Jacobs. They drafted a running back. Yeah, maybe it is time to kind of turn the page. We're at the halfway point of the season. Let's see what else they have in certain guys. I don't know if Stidham is. I think we'll see Carr the rest of the year. I think to fully evaluate him as the new coaching staff, I think he will play the entire year. But I do have a lot of heading in. They were a top 5 offense. They were right there with Buffalo and Philadelphia as an offense, and for them to run they only got in the Saints' territory with 4 minutes left in the game. It was pathetic.
They're almost the 5th team in history to never having to snap on the opponent's side of the field, and that was in garbage time without Derek Carr.
Wow, it's remarkable because the offense had been humming. But yeah, I could see selling these guys.
Well, last one before we get out of here. You didn't pick the second one, so I'm going to pick the second one for you. I sat here going like this. Like it doesn't work as much with the helmet. I'm doing the oh my god face. Cam Akers could have done that yesterday. And no, I'm not. I sat here 3 weeks ago and said it's time to drop Cam Akers. This isn't happening. And then the trade rumors, I was like, oh, it's definitely time. And everybody's like, well, what if he gets traded? Best case scenario, he gets traded and he's still a backup somewhere because of what he is now. That being said, holy crap, that backfield is trash. And it comes down to the offensive line, but really, Ronnie Rivers? Like, what are the Rams doing here where, like, Darrell Henderson, I know he wasn't 100%, but let's say he gets full practices all this week. Can you even go back to Henderson at this point?
No chance. There was a conversation midweek in our FTN Discord channel about Ronnie getting some more work, and we all kind of laughed about it. But then at the same time, we were like, yeah, well, McVay doesn't like Henderson, and then McVay doesn't like anybody out of his backfield, right? I mean, doesn't like Akers,
Kyron
doesn't
Williams,
like Henderson.
stash him now.
Oh, for sure. Kyron Williams is a great stash. It doesn't like Malcolm Brown. I don't know. It's just I wouldn't play any Rams running back. I wouldn't play anybody from the Rams in general outside of Cooper Kupp. Looks like he dodged a bullet. It's not a significant injury, but yeah, this is not good. And to your point, man, the offensive line, they're not helping anybody. Whoever they throw back there, it's too bad about Cam Akers. You're right. He could have done that and much better.
He did do that last year.
What we saw
yesterday.
He did
a little better than that and coming back in ungodly time. Again, he looks slow. Like he definitely doesn't look, but maybe Cam Akers next year, the year after that, like Deonta Foreman. Celebrate some Deonta. Screw this. I'm done. Oh my God. I'm so glad this is not an hour show.
Pretty good.
Just like the show. So here you go. Walk around and hold it like this, and I need some stupid kid to go take care of. So we'll be back tomorrow. Have fun with Halloween tonight. Speaking of stupid kids, no, I'm just kidding. Your kids are great. Enjoy that. I'll be back tomorrow with Lauren to talk waivers. Follow Meaney at Chris Meaney over at Etienne. 20% off with All In, and we love you guys. Thanks for having fun with us. See you tomorrow.
That's my heart.